This podcast is rated R for restricted. Under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian.
Mission to 50.
How you doing, everyone? So, Doth, Coors Light, and yeah. So the thing is that there was a Coors Light, right? And Doth looked into the silver. I don't know what silver bullet. They found alcohol. They look into the looking glass of the fucking. Howdy do ya, Macbeth? I don't know what else happened after that. It was something about fucking this guy and poisoning that guy, and that's all.
Timmy
Welcome to the
didn't follow it?
podcast.
Thanks,
I didn't fucking follow it.
I
Did
didn't
you follow it?
We're watching Macbeth. Hey, guys.
We watched it.
The Tragedy of Macbeth.
Joel
The Tragedy.
Coen's first movie.
Well, first
by
I want to
himself, right?
apologize because I think our schedule is off. So if you're expecting either The Great Dictator or Alien, we're just going to keep doing bonus episodes until
I wish
the
we had
Oscars.
watched Alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's make a
Jesus
better one for
Christ.
next week, huh?
It'll happen, yeah.
Yeah, if you go to our website, I'm updating the coming up next section. So if you're curious of what's coming up next, you can just go there and not listen to what we say at the end of the podcast.
Oh, you're updating
episodes.
it now? Good, because
Yeah.
I'm slacking. I suck.
I
I'm
saw it was
sorry.
the Babadook last week.
Yeah, I know. But hey, I at least put the page there.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Oh, well, that's
It
good.
was an option.
I can show you how to put the alert there if you want again, so that it shows
There's
up.
an alert. Ooh, that's
Well,
fancy.
there's like the header, so that whenever you go on the website, it'll tell you you can jump to what's next.
That's
like
what
it's a header. Anyway, we'll talk about it.
That's
We'll
what I
talk about it.
did. So go there and it says
Oh,
that
yeah,
we're
okay.
gonna. Yeah,
Yeah,
I got it
well
updated.
Done.
It's all good.
Well done.
Yeah.
Very good.
Anyway, remind me.
Ty is one of our favorite peoples
We might
of
want
planets.
to check out Tick Tick Boom because that is like I think that's Oscar rating,
No,
isn't it?
I'm not gonna watch
Can
that.
we do the
I
licorice
watched-
pizza already?
I watched
Yeah,
the
Licorice
trailer.
Pizza.
It was pretty funny. Oh, okay, Licorice Pizza done.
Yeah. All right.
we
So
can
this
do
week,
it. It's not like
I
40
wish we had
bucks.
done anything but Macbeth.
this week we're watching the Tragedy of Macbeth. Joel Coen. The synopsis is a Scottish. Well, you've all read Macbeth in high school, right? We don't need to go over this.
No, I had. Thank God, John, that you sent me that wiki because I
You
had
didn't
no
have to
clue.
read this.
I'm so glad that I read the synopsis because I had
yeah.
no fucking clue.
I
What
watched
was going
20
on in the
minutes of
movie?
this, and I was like, I am basically staring at a muted television right now. Like I have no idea what
no
anyone's
idea
saying.
what they're saying.
Yeah.
They don't know
Yeah.
what words they're saying.
Okay,
They all
thank
mumble
God.
the
I
entire
thought you guys
fucking
were going to
time.
come in swinging
They're
like,
like,
this is the greatest movie of all time because that's what people are doing out here.
I
I
know.
had the
That's why
subtitles
I
on.
picked it. Because like the cinematography looked good in the trailer, and it's
Yep.
Denzel Washington and one of the Coen brothers and Frances
Yeah.
McDormand. Like, how the
Yeah.
fuck could you go wrong? Apparently, very badly.
She forgot where she was. She was still on the Nomadland set doing nothing.
No, or I still felt like sometimes you
talking.
could hear, her Midwestern accent. So it's like Margie.
Margie.
Did it seem like sometimes the language he would say like "get him," and you're like "get him"? Everyone's
Get 'em?
using individual words, and you say "get him."
Yeah, get him. Really?
Honestly, the amount of words that came out of their mouth, I have no fucking clue what half
Yeah.
of it meant.
Did you subtitles?
I did not because,
Yeah.
you
I
know.
put it
Subtitles
back. I
helps.
put them on. It helps.
But yeah, but
again,
if I wanted to
this
read the
is-
movie, I would have
Oh,
read
I
the
know.
book.
I know,
This is
but it's better than not knowing what's
yeah.
going on literally for 2 hours.
No, because
right?
you would be confused.
even with the
Yeah.
reading, I was like, I don't know what half these words are. Literally,
I
they're
don't
not
either.
words anymore.
Denny, thank God. I thought I was just the only dumb
No.
one. I'm thinking they're like,
I don't
do
know how
these
you did it
words
without
even-
subtitles, dude.
Do these words even have definitions?
Yeah.
I don't even know what they mean by themselves, let alone when you string them together in 8 pairs.
Yeah.
Like they say 8 words. I still don't know what the sentence meant. And then here's another 8 words.
The way
and
they
still
would
don't know.
say it is like they would pause halfway through the sentences, just look like reading it. Like it helped just because the way they would talk was like they would pause halfway through a sentence, but then they would continue the next sentence immediately after finishing that first sentence. And you're like,
Yeah.
dude, use
Yeah.
punctuation in your tone of voice and the way you talk. Otherwise, it's impossible to understand.
So here's a funny story. So my mother's like, hey, what are we watching tonight? I'm like, nothing. I got to watch fucking Tragedy of Macbeth. And she was just like, oh, yeah, Shakespeare. And I said, like, I fucking hate Shakespeare. And she goes, that's funny because I remember in high school you saying that you loved it. And I was like, I don't remember this. And she was like, oh yeah, yeah, you said some bullshit to me like, oh, the rhythm of how they speak makes sense to you. And I was like, that's what I said. And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, that is some bullshit I would say. That is some total bullshit that I would give when I have no idea what's going on.
Teenage TC lying to his mom. There you go.
The rhythm makes sense. Yeah, sure. She was laughing at me like, yeah, like she didn't know that I didn't like it. Come on.
Have you liked any Shakespeare, TC or Denny? Have
No.
you any?
I don't
never,
think
ever?
so.
I had to
don't
read Macbeth in high school, and I remember it
think
being
so.
very hard to get through.
I don't remember Macbeth. I don't think I read it. I think I was in the class. It was still on Romeo and Juliet.
Remember there being one part, like there were a couple lines that I remembered, like double, toil and trouble.
Toil and Trouble. Yeah,
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 that's
yeah,
like
yeah,
they
yeah,
use that in
yeah.
other shit.
yeah.
There's that one sentence that starts with tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
famous.
I think that's like I don't know why it's famous because I want to bring it up here because
What does it mean?
I don't know what it fucking means. It's so long. John, do you know what it means?
I don't know. I
No,
have it.
it's all
We can
made
bring
up
it up and read
words.
it and see. No, it's not. And, well, to be fair, it's like over 300 years old. So
That's not acceptable.
so-
That's not an
whatever.
excuse.
So language was quite different then. But yeah, anyway, it's no excuse. You're
Well,
right.
people
I
didn't
mean,
understand it then either.
There's
They
no
were
way. There's no way people talked like this,
Right,
right?
yeah.
There's no way people talk
No,
like
they
this.
used to, I guess.
No way. There's
Why?
no way.
I mean,
Because
can you
what
imagine
they're-
the
the way
dummies
they're
we know? They
talking.
don't know that. They wouldn't be able to talk like that.
Well,
right?
everything they say has like some really deep meaning into it. So not
I
only
know.
do they have really complex language and they're all really well spoken, but they're able to like conceptualize everything all the time in a conversation. You know what I mean? Like everything they say is just super smart and forward thinking and super
Yeah.
self-aware. And it just, I don't know. Nothing
like
about
there's
it
like
rings
8
true.
different words for them just saying like, hey, look, shit is brown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like some long, comprehensive sentence that makes no sense. And then you're like, what does that mean? And someone says, oh, they're just explaining shit. You're like, what?
Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out,
Right.
brief
So wait.
candle.
So first,
All right,
all,
what does that
all
mean?
he's saying right now is how much life sucks and how tedious everything is.
he should have said
Right?
life sucks. Bummer, huh?
He just said life sucks. Life sucks. Yeah.
Hey,
but
hey,
it's
buddy,
fun.
all
It's
those
kind of fun about it.
words
It's
could have
poetry.
just
It's fun.
been life sucks.
And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one. I thought you guys were really going to come in because knowing
Yeah, I
all
felt
the
stupid
knowing all the
watching
fucking reviews I've been hearing about, and it's phenomenal and what a masterpiece. And you're just like, I watched it. I was like, fuck, I'm going to be the only asshole that comes in and shit talks Shakespeare.
No.
You
It's
know?
fine. But I think it's. I mean, it's fun when you study it, and the language is great, and the imagery and the poetry is.
Is
I
it
mean, how can you say
though?
it's, yes, it is. But that's if you study it and you're well acquainted with it. Then
Oh, I
but
guess.
and
That's what we were like. Me and
It's
Amy were
fine.
talking like you have to have studied this, right?
well, yeah,
And this is the kind of
really,
nerdy
you have to really
theater
know
tech
this stuff.
type. Yeah, it's like nerdy
Right,
theater
right.
type
It
people
is.
who do movie reviews. You know, it's like that
Right,
specific
right.
type of
It
person
is.
who
Or it's
wishes
like-
they
and
were an
it's like-
actor.
The people that couldn't make it to the actual
And it's
soundstage.
like nerdy,
Right.
nerdy theater type directors and actors that like to do this. You know, it's a
Which makes me think even more now that it's all bullshit.
well, sort of, but
Knowing
they're-
those people.
it doesn't devalue. I mean, from their opinion, it's still
No, I don't think they're lying about it. I just think it's
Right,
like
right,
very
yeah.
specifically made for theater geeks, and
Yeah.
and,
It is, and that's fine.
Yeah.
It's too bad. I was wondering. I was expecting more from the cinematography.
I didn't like the
set
the
design.
Sets.
Yo, the
I didn't
sets
like
were
the
terrible,
sets.
dude. Same
They
TC.
were just in a
Yeah,
soundstage,
yeah.
It
right?
looks
Like that's
fucking
all they
terrible.
were.
I had like
Yeah.
I was like, where's all the furniture? Where's all the
Yeah.
paintings on the
There's
wall?
nothing in those
There's
because they were
nothing
just in a
there.
soundstage and they weren't.
Yeah, it's what
shooting
it looked
with-
like. It was a soundstage.
Yeah, the
Sometimes
whole
there
time.
was some neat shadows, but also
The
too,
entire thing was
Some
on
neat
sound
shadows.
stages, and that was done on
Some neat
purpose.
shadows,
Oh, yeah.
dude.
Done on purpose.
I
That's
know.
just,
I'm
that's what he
trying.
gave him. He gave
Well,
him
and it's
neat
odd because it
shadows.
was like a lot of the camera shots would be people like
Dutch
they'd
angles.
be
Oh,
like-
look at that.
they'd
Tilted
be
a little bit.
centered.
Looks a little weird.
Right. Well, they would be, but also when people were speaking, they would be like centered in the camera, looking
didn't
a little
like
bit to the
that.
side, like a cologne commercial. You know, like Macbeth for men.
Oh, you mean
It
half the
was like-
shots that were just people's faces? Like half the movie was just a
but-
face?
and they would be like staring away from you. It's talking like they're in a cologne commercial.
There was a
it was
shot
very
where you
strange.
could see the camera in the guy's eyes. I didn't like that. I
Really?
was like, why didn't you
Oh.
guys fucking paint that
Really?
shit
No,
out?
I didn't see
all
that.
I could
No.
all I could focus on, I could literally see the crane with the fucking red on it.
Oh, wow.
And it was like, I can see that. Everyone else can see that. If that's on a big
Wow.
screen, there's no way you're not seeing that.
Do you remember
And,
where
like,
that was?
They didn't even
I kinda
spend
wanna-
it was right in the beginning, right when they first introduced that guy with the one that was chasing after Macbeth the whole time. I
McDuff?
forget his name. Is it Macduff?
No,
Yeah.
no, there's
McBiff?
I don't know.
No.
Either way, it was the guy with the bald head, like the shaved head, and then he had close-ups all the time, but he wasn't really saying much.
Oh, like
the priest
that
guy?
Yes,
the priest
yes,
guy.
the father,
Okay.
yes, that's him.
Assassin guy or whatever.
So in the beginning, when he first gets introduced, you see, if you look in his eyes, and I paused it and looked, whatever it is, if it's not the camera and the jib or the crane, it's something production related,
I'm going
because
back
when
and
they
watching
switch back to the view of the king or whatever he was, I was barely following who's who.
I know.
You basically, it didn't match what you were seeing in the reflection of his eyes. So it's not like they should have taken the image of the shot and then like put it inside of his lens so that when it switches back, you think you're actually seeing but like they would cut and I'd see the fucking arm of the camera and then I'd see the tents in the background and be like, guys, if I'm noticing that shit, someone who doesn't pay attention to that shit whatsoever, other people are seeing this. And it's just like, you guys spent all this money on these actors and this fucking production, like, fix that.
I'm not sure how much
if
money
it's
they
not-
spend on the production.
even
Look
if
like
that's
shit.
not a
Yeah,
camera,
it'd be
even if it's
interesting to
something
see.
else, like it's
Yeah.
not matching with what we're looking at when the
I mean,
camera cuts.
Well,
when
I
the
guess maybe
angle,
just
you know?
because of the actors, there was a fair amount of money spent.
Yeah.
I mean,
did you
dude,
get a
I
budget?
liked.
There's no budget out for this one.
I liked. What's his name? Fuck,
Denzel?
man, I'm blanking right now. Denzel, yeah, Denzel was
Oh,
good.
yeah.
I thought. I mean, he did his
Oh.
usual. He did his usual Denzel.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same old
I
Denzel.
thought all the acting was good. I
Yeah.
liked it. I liked them all.
How could you tell if it was good or not? You don't even know what was going on.
They're just doing.
I liked the witch.
fucking
The witch. Was
Oh, the
great.
witch was the
I-
best
I-
part of the movie.
I actually-
creepy as fuck.
Yeah, she was great. She was great. What was her name?
With that
Catherine.
arm thing and the shoulder and
Yeah.
popping it.
Yeah,
a couple
the
scenes with
Catherine-
her in it were the best
Catherine
parts.
Hunter. Yeah.
How many
I
cigarettes
really
do
liked
you
how they
have
did
in
that. I really
fucking
liked how
day?
they did that. And then when they do the imagery where she'd split into three.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
the
yeah,
reflection,
yeah. Some of that was cool.
That was cool. I liked the two sword fights. I thought those were good, but maybe that was just because
But that happened.
action.
Look, dude, it took us so much time to
I
get
know.
to something happening. I
know.
was like, "Fuck!" Finally, they're fighting.
Yeah, I know,
They're
but I
not
did
just
like
sitting there
like
talking.
them. I liked the choreography.
Oh,
of the
that
two
last
sword
shot
fights.
where he slices his neck.
Yeah, that was good, right?
No, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
It looked like CG.
I thought it was good.
It looked CG
You know
as
why?
fuck.
Oh, really?
But you know why it was good? Because it was the only time something fucking happened.
Right? Yeah.
I thought it looked actually pretty bad when his head
Oh.
went flying back. Like the reason they cut it so quickly is because I'm sure
'cause you don't wanna
it
see
looked
it.
like
It looks
shit.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could
Yeah,
tell,
yeah.
and the camera was moving fast.
I don't know. I just maybe it was because it was action, but I liked the two scenes. I thought it moved really nice the
But
way
that
the two
set
sword
looked like
fights
garbage.
occurred.
Them on
Yep.
the
But
wall.
yeah.
What was that?
Everything looked like garbage. All the CG fog also looked like. Why do they use CG fog in this movie? Use a fog machine. You're on a set.
I don't, because they didn't. Yeah, I don't know. It's Denzel's first movie or not. I don't remember. I mean, it's his first big movie where he's directing shit, right?
Well, no. I mean, not
Has
Denzel,
he
but
directed a
Joel,
bunch?
No, this is Joel Coen who directed it.
Oh, yeah,
Joel-
but he was involved, wasn't he? Or no? Maybe he's a producer. What was
I
he?
don't know.
This is something he's involved with besides
As a
just
first?
acting. I thought he was in. I thought he was a part of the. But what's her name as a producer? So maybe I'm just
McDormand and Joel
misremembering
produced it,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Maybe I must be misremembering then. So don't listen to me. But all I know is that fog did look like shit.
Yeah. And I have
Um,
like there were a couple times where when they threw the kid like into the fog on the fiery house.
Oh, that was bad.
There was like grading, like color
Was there?
grading on the fog.
Really?
Kind of like
Oh.
the bit rate was really low, but I
might have
checked
been.
it.
Nah, you know what it might have been? It might have been noise grain. As a lot of times they do the noise grain and it's colored noise grain, and it like they do it by pixel.
Is that on
'cause it's
purpose?
digital. Well, yeah, it's like an added grain effect to make it look more like film, but encoding stuff can fuck with that a lot. So like when you encode the file on these services, like when you go to pull it up on Hulu or any of them, they have an encoding profile that they use. The original files go through these encoding pipelines in order to go onto the service, right? They have to create all these different encoding profiles. But when you do that with some sorts of noise grain, it like fucks the encoding profile up. And the encoding doesn't know how to interpret it because it's like fake colored noise that doesn't work well with some profile settings. And we have this problem all the time. But that could be what it is because it sounds like when we hear complaints, that's what we hear. there's like some sort of color grading weird shift going on when there's like CG involved and other stuff. Movement
That sounds
like that.
likely what
Yeah.
I was seeing.
Yeah, it sucks because it's not something you see on the inputs, right? You only see it when it's delivered to a service. So if like you're not preparing for that, and why would you when you're just shooting a movie, right? You're not preparing for all the places it's about to launch on because it's a movie, right?
I figured
Right.
I was blaming Apple TV.
Could
So I
be,
don't-
but it could be. It
Could
be.
be,
So the
maybe. I
encoding
don't know.
profile for Apple TV is going to be different than the one on Prime Video. So like,
And this is like
it
Apple
depends
TV
on-
exclusive, so they only
Yeah.
had one platform to test this on before they
Right.
released it. and
But they
didn't
may
do a
not
good
have even
job.
done that because it may
Right.
not, in the time, there's a lot of different things that could be happening, right? They could be
Right.
not, initially, they may not have actually been wanting it to go to service. They would have wanted to go to a movie theater, which you wouldn't be using. You'd be using the DCP. You wouldn't be using the, files that you're sending for the service.
I wonder
So
with
it's a-
Omicron and all this like week to week shit, how much in the seat of on the seat of people's pants people are making decisions for like what goes to streaming and what stays
Yeah.
exclusive in theaters and stuff.
yeah,
Probably
I don't know.
week to week, right? It's like let's release it streaming next week.
Yep. 100%. They're They're tweaking their
sucks.
slates on a weekly basis, and that that there's a number of factors involved, right? Like the fact that you may not have had production in line with the calendar that you set, right? Like, okay, this is when we're going to do this. This is how long it's going to take. Well, Omicron and COVID. Well, now we're pushed 6 weeks. Well, in 6 weeks, what comes out that week? Oh, this fucking movie comes out. Well, we don't want to launch on that week then, right? So then it changes and changes and changes. All these studios are doing all these different things and it just never ends. So yeah, I would think that there's a strategy team that's probably on a weekly basis being like, hey, we got these movies coming out, for each studio that's making one. Well, what do we want to do with that one? Well, HBO Max can take it on that week because they're not launching anything or, and so on. So yeah, I mean, there's people getting paid good money to come up with those ideas. But yeah, it's with all this COVID shit, it's changing the way that we understand film in theaters and not as we know it for good, probably.
Yeah.
The issue is, right, like if you're seeing this happens too on some of the series, like if you're seeing issues in the video on the service, you don't really think, oh, it's fucking Apple's problem. You think like, what's up with this movie? Right. Then you start blaming other things. You start blaming people. You start blaming like, well, that production company was that one that did that movie that I didn't like because of that issue I saw on the video. Right. And you may not see those issues in the movie theater. You might only see them on your TV because guess what? You might have a shitty device. Right. So there's all these like other things now that come up that are not as cool as they used to be. Like before, you make it for the theater, right? You're going to show it on the stage. You're going to mix it. You're going to have it up. You're going to know it looks good. And by the time it makes it to the theater, you don't even have to think about it because most of the theaters have very similar standards for their projection
all those
and all this other
devices,
shit. Right.
and then what they do depending upon your internet connection.
Exactly.
And,
right. Because they may
whether
feed
they
you a different
downsample
encode. Right. So like if you're getting a bad signal, you're, like for instance, on Prime Video,
Plus-
there's like a shitload of targets that they make, right? So there's like a really high res HD target that's going to be, sent to someone who's got a great internet connection and a really important device. But then there's going to be this shit SD encode that's getting, sent to your mobile phone and your other thing. And all of those are separate.
Right, all those devices are different.
And all those devices
all
are
those
different.
TVs are different. So you could have a shitty TV, or you could have. I mean,
How dare you talk shit on my TV?
So like not having
talk
something
shit
like
about
that in
you,
a movie
Danny.
theater.
I'd watch
You can
it.
talk shit about me, but not my TV.
No,
Yeah,
no,
my
I
Prized
wouldn't.
possession.
Yeah, it's
Don't
gonna
you
fall
dare
on you one day.
discuss my TV. So yeah, I think that it's definitely going to be a problem for everything going forward because the cool thing is there's other tech coming out and I know we're digressing, but I think everyone will like this, including you guys with the Dolby Vision stuff. Dolby Vision is really, 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 really cool because it tells the devices exactly what they should be interpreting the chrominance and luminance levels as. So you're going to be getting a picture that was approved by a colorist saying, okay, we tweaked the metadata so that over the course of X amount of devices, they're going to be told exactly how to interpret this video that's coming to them. So there's no more guessing. There's no more like, oh, this TV's got dynamic range that changes shit, and like the color you decided isn't the color you're seeing on Fire TV. So Dolby Vision has like a real metadata. They call it L1 and L2 trim metadata, and that metadata is basically information that gets sent along with the files to the devices, and that interprets exactly what the colorist was trying to
Cool.
convey. So there is stuff coming out as we go into the future here.
I didn't
that
even
will
know
be,
that there was like a colorist, if that's
Yeah.
like an official title. That
Oh
you
yeah,
have,
the
like,
color of the film
yeah.
is. I mean, that's the
Well,
tone,
yeah, but you
right?
don't
Yeah.
see that in the credits, do you? I don't think.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah,
you
you
do.
do.
It,
Yeah,
down
you
there,
do.
down there in the deep.
They just
Oh,
don't
yeah,
give
it's-
Oscars for it, you know. So
They're
it doesn't
above
really
the
like
line.
an
matter.
Oscar for
Yeah,
best
don't you
colorist.
Yeah, just
well,
a
no, the funny thing
cinematographer.
is color
Yeah.
matters the most. Color sets the whole tone, right? I mean, you figure there's movies that have that really dull look to it with the grays and the blues, and that's all done in post. That's not shot that way. Granted, there are color profiles you can shoot, but you don't usually do that. You shoot raw and then you edit later, right? So there is some stuff in the future that's going to be really cool for how we interpret this information. But stuff like what you were saying, Denny, back to the movie, it's, you know, these are things that happen with little bits that really turn people off for good, right? So like, you know, and the fact that we're not seeing these stuffs in the theaters, it's like, it's a big difference. I mean, you've got creative stuff that's just not making it to the mark as it used to, because everyone used to just go to the theater. So
It's rare though. I mean, it is rare when I notice things like that
it is.
in movies. And this
It
one,
is.
I was noticing it a lot. And it
Right.
made, like, I was like, well, it's either, I guess it's one and the same. I was blaming Apple TV and the production of the movie, which I guess it is probably
It's totally
both.
could be two separate things.
Yeah.
though, too.
But I mean, Apple TV has always been kind of shitty to me, like in terms of the streaming service. Like I get like lag and shit from Apple TV, and I don't get it on any other
Oh,
streaming
weird.
service. So
Yeah.
I just have always thought of Apple TV as kind of like
Do you have an older one, or is it?
I play it off my PlayStation, so I have
Oh,
the
okay.
app on the PlayStation.
Oh,
But see
I
how
Sorry,
quickly
you're
this
talking about
can
the app,
escalate?
not an Apple TV. You're talking about the Apple TV app. No,
App, yeah.
The
sorry.
Apple TV
When you say
app.
Apple TV, I thought it meant you had an Apple TV. You were playing
Which
it.
in I'm sure at Apple means two different things with
It
two different
does.
teams.
Well, yeah, the
right.
application again is a whole
Yeah,
other thing.
it's
too.
a whole
and,
thing
Oh, it's
and
Apple
that
TV.
application,
Plus is what it is.
right. But it's
There
through
you
the
go.
app on the PlayStation. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Terrible name.
Right. So
yeah, it
I
is.
mean, if you're noticing that too, though, I mean, there is some blame to be placed on production because they're supposed to be thinking about that shit, right? Like if you know your files are going to service, then you should be testing on those services that may mean the most to you to make sure that whatever, you know, grain you're applying or some sort of effect you want to happen globally, that actually translates on the service you're delivering to, right?
Well, I wonder
So-
if Apple has more because they're relatively newer at this, like than say Amazon or Netflix. If they're, and especially what might be happening now, like as you guys were saying, where there might be a lot of processing time normally between your theater release and you get everything ready for home release. So maybe you have a lot more time to figure all that
Since
stuff
they're just
out.
tossing it onto streaming, it's kind of like give them a
Typically,
break.
no. Typically,
No,
they're
you would
doing-
know TC better than this.
Yeah,
no, you'd think that
typically
there'd be
no.
like,
Typically, there's
yeah.
no difference what the medium is that you're going to be
Oh, okay.
headed
So they
towards.
don't
Like
do
your
that.
production, your calendar is set by the production that has nothing to do with the post part, which is
Oh, okay.
the part where you're starting to deliver to other services, right? Where you're making your deliverables. So your post schedule, I mean, your post schedule is going to be different than your production schedule. So if you're making a movie and you're in production, like they're going to have that timeline set no matter where it's going
Okay.
to send, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to have your raw deliverables before you can make all those ancillary assets that follow for service and delivery and all this other shit. So it's typically not any different in time, really. It's a matter of making sure your inputs are good, and if you're not doing any testing onto the services you're delivering to, then you're going to have issues that you didn't foresee because you didn't test for it. So, I mean, I think at this point it's pretty common that you're going to test, but can you do it on a service like Apple or Prime or any of those other ones where you have priority titles over others, right? You have important titles, and then I hate to say it, you have some titles that are just going up to fucking fill the slate, right? So, it sucks to be thought that way if one of your pictures is just a low tier title, but as they call it in the marketing thing, it's minimal lovable product, right? I mean, there's a lot of those. And so you're not obviously going to test everything for that. And as a production company, you're not going to know whether your movie's very good or not. Obviously with Denzel, you might have a better chance than say someone
sure.
that doesn't. Right, but
Well,
like,
yeah, this has so much cred.
yeah.
with
So
Joel
there's so
Coen
many
and Denzel
variables,
and
it depends on how important you are, not important, what tier. It's endless. Which is why, like a lot of times, the fucking encoding is overlooked because you've got bigger fish to fry.
And
right?
here we are
I mean,
shitting on it because of the encoding.
well, no,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
you should shit on it because
just-
ultimately the standard should be at a level that you
Right.
don't notice, right?
it just wasn't very. I mean, it wasn't very interesting. It just was the way it
the
was
movie
shot. The
itself
sets,
wasn't.
the
history. Yeah.
cinematography. None of it was that
Didn't it
interesting.
seem too clean
Yeah.
too?
Yeah,
For like
yeah.
the tone they were going
Right.
for,
This
like
is a
old,
gritty, dirty story
yeah,
of
yeah,
revenge,
yeah.
of murder and greed, and everything seemed kind of pristine. It's a good point.
pristinely,
Yeah.
but like
Like the
pristine
sets
with an
and-
effect that made it look shitty.
Yeah.
You know, like or not shitty is not the right word.
But it's a
it
good
was
point.
supposed to make it look old.
It did look sort of sterile, like in a way,
Yeah.
like sort of,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it would
Well,
have
the
been
black
cool.
and white didn't help.
I didn't really.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe
black and white, I
whatever.
don't mind. But what would have been better is what it looked like. They might have been going for is like this is a brand new castle, and like this might be what a brand new castle looks like. But
Yeah.
they didn't decorate it at all.
Before you,
it's
like,
fine
put
if
all
the
the
floors
IKEA
are clean.
furniture,
Yeah, the floors are clean. The angles are like tight in the corners of the building. All the marbles are like pressed up against each other perfectly. Like that's fine as long as you make it look livable. But this just looks like an empty. Every
It
room
looked
like
like
a
set. It
concrete
looked like
box.
not just a set,
Yeah.
but like a very sparse set.
Yeah.
Like
But what was the intention for the Sparse Set? I guess is what I
They
was
wanted
having
to make it
trouble
look surreal. The colors and the sets and the camera angles were all and like the fog and like how
it didn't work though.
It didn't work
It
at all.
didn't
Yeah,
work.
it
I mean, the black and white didn't help there either. I don't think. I mean, again, it can't. Not that black and white's bad in and of itself, but it just it made it all just sort of.
I don't know. When
blander
you're
and-
twinkling in the eyes and all you
Yeah.
can see is black and white around it, and you're noticing like the cameras and the lens,
Oh, that's a little.
it's like
all
a little
the
bit
close-up
too much.
shots
You
were
know?
so
I don't know.
boring. Like it was like half this movie is facial shots and like
Right.
the shots of
Oh,
the face,
yeah.
and behind them was nothing. It was just
Right.
like white or gray or black, and that's it.
And not only that, the close-up shots, like there was often not movement, like as they talked.
Oh yeah,
So
stay
they
in one spot. They would walk to
stay
their
there
position for the one scene. They would talk
and
at each other in
talk.
nonsense for 5 minutes, and then
Right.
they would move on to the
or
next
talk,
thing.
talk, to the side of it, or just at an angle from the camera, like and it just, I don't know.
This is a tough one because if you don't mind watching people sit around and talk, I mean, shit, this one's for you.
And you understand Shakespeare, maybe read it a few
and
times.
if you like
yeah,
words,
yeah. I think if you're really familiar with the play, it's always fun to see new
Yes,
actors do
yes,
it,
I
and
can see
and I think it's kind of the thing. It's then entertaining. I think just to see any rendition of it once you're really familiar with it. But
Right.
I like the lead characters. I thought they were good. It's just everything and how they were arranged and everything.
I was just
It's
hoping
kinda-
for, like you said, Danny. I was just hoping for more from the sets. There wasn't like if you're gonna have a movie that's like play like when you go to a play, the sets are pretty impressive because
Yep.
like you have to think
There's
about
a lot
it.
of energy too.
Yeah,
Like,
and there just wasn't any of that. It was like it was set up to be like a play, but the sets were not exquisite, and the effects they had on the film were not landing. And
I
I
would have
just,
been pissed if this was a friggin' show we went to go see. It's like nobody made anything. This is literally just the backdrop of the theater.
Who's in
There's
production?
nothing going
Who's in
on
the
here.
production
Yeah,
design
yeah.
department?
And
What
there
the
was
fuck's
one of the
going on
parts
here?
that also kind of annoyed me is that, like you said, they're leaning into that stage production type of thing, and you can tell that because like 3 times in the movie, it's either like a projector start sounds or a spotlight sound. You know what I'm talking about? Like there was like a cha-chink. Like the first second of the movie is like a cha-chink, either like
right. Like
the
so they're
lights
coming
turn on
stage.
or
yeah.
the projector turns on. Like you're watching
yeah.
a reel of a film. One of the two. I thought it was at first the projector starting, but like halfway through the movie when one of the guys has a little moment where he walks out into an completely empty space in a spotlight and just talks to the camera basically for a little bit. It makes that sound like right before that too. There's just a couple moments where it's like they're trying to like break the third wall. But why?
Yeah. But there's no intention behind it. It's just to do it.
Yeah. I mean, they
Yeah.
also have the ratio of the film was
Oh,
like
right,
1 to
there's that.
1.
That was pissing me
which
off,
Is,
too.
Which is
Yeah.
square. Why?
Yeah.
Once they
Like
saw the
digitally
lighthouse, they're
done,
like, this will
too.
make it look old. It'll be black and white and 1-to-1 ratio like the lighthouse. It can't be bad, right? The lighthouse had awesome
That's a
cinematography,
good
though.
point. That's a good point there, Denny.
Yeah.
And the lighthouse used real fog. Have you guys seen the
Nah.
lighthouse?
Who would have guessed?
Nope.
Real fog?
Have you seen the lighthouse,
You.
DC?
No.
I was
had
comparing it to
skip
Lighthouse. Lighthouse is like
I mean, I know the
billion
movie,
times
but I
better
didn't watch it. Yeah.
than this movie.
Willem Dafoe, right?
Willem Dafoe.
Right. It's a kind of a horror story. Two
Kind of.
guys in a lighthouse.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
going
as
nuts.
creepy as the witch is going to be. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it could be good. But it is kind of a callback to that, isn't it? I mean,
It
it's
is.
very similar in style.
Because I mean, we watch a lot of movies, and that ratio with the black and white, I haven't seen anyone do that in 20 years. And the Lighthouse came out a couple years ago.
Did you like that the lighthouse did it? Like, did it impact the film having that ratio?
Yes, it was good.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that film. The film is amazing.
it's made it to seem like tries to make it seem like it's an older film that way, or what is it trying to accomplish that way? Just
Yeah, I think that's it.
yeah. Okay.
Setting
That
the
movie
tone.
got so. I mean, you should at least watch a little bit of it. It's got like my favorite Willem Dafoe performance in it, and it's got some amazing cinematography in it.
Who's the other guy?
Robert Pattinson.
Okay.
Who also I didn't like him, or I didn't really have any thoughts about him, but now I really like him after watching The Lighthouse because he's awesome in it too.
Yeah.
We can watch that one next
Cool.
Halloween. Let's save that one for next
Hey,
October.
that's
huh?
a good idea.
Yeah.
Or
Oh,
as
the
Macbeth.
Guillermo del Toro
I'm
film
good.
that's out the
We can watch that one. That's
Yeah.
coming out February 1st, actually. I
yeah
have that
okay.
in my calendar.
Yeah. I'd like to see that one.
Nightmare Alley?
Yeah, Nightmare Alley.
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay.
Keep going with the Oscar stuff. Fuck it. We'll hit a
Yeah,
good
why
one
not?
sometime.
What do we-
Some of it could be good. It
Yeah.
just wasn't this one.
We still get Drive Belfast if we're going to pay the
Or
willing to
Coda,
pay
or
the
Power of the
$20.
Dog. You know, one of
Yeah, it
these
definitely
times.
wasn't Coda, and it definitely wasn't Power of the Dog. So, yeah. I actually have a friend who asked me too, like, have you seen Power of the Dog? And I was like, no, not yet. And now I'm going to be like, you liked that fucking movie? I don't think we can be friends anymore.
But
I
people
think that's
liked
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
it.
I
you're
liked
gonna,
it.
Next, you're
I
going to tell
liked
me
it.
that
Are we not
Macbeth
friends
blew your
anymore?
mind, you know?
We haven't been friends this whole time, John.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. You didn't know that? We hate each other.
No,
Everybody
yeah,
at
let's
home,
do
we
it.
can't
I just
stand
don't like
each
to
other.
hear it.
This is all an act.
This is all.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's
It sounds like we get along, but trust
No,
me,
no,
we
no.
don't. Remember when we used to be in a band? How about
Yeah.
that?
Remember that? That was
That was
fun.
fun.
That was always fun. Unlike this. This is
those are
sometimes
years.
not fun at all.
Oh yeah, being in a band was always
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
Every
sure.
second
Yeah,
was
being in a
so
band
much
was
fun.
so fun. Yeah. Just diving into
yeah.
all those.
Everyone got
issues.
along all the time.
Oh, everybody did. We were so nice
That
to
was
each other.
great. It was great.
Hugs
There
and
wasn't any
high fives all
yelling. There was no
around.
screaming. There was
No,
just,
no.
no drunken arguments. It's just
Nope.
That's right. That's
Fun.
accurate.
All fun.
accurate.
So I got a question. A couple
Sure.
questions. Or I guess maybe just one. What was the last shot?
Mm.
It was when I wasn't asking like what specifically it was. What was your interpretation of
remember.
the last shot? It was
I'm trying to remember the
It was
last
when the
shot, yeah.
assassin priest guy and the little kid are on a horse riding across the countryside
Oh,
coming
wait,
towards the
and then, like,
camera,
then,
and they
like,
go
the
down
birds
below.
fly up.
Right, and then a bunch of crows fly out.
Oh, yeah, the
Right.
crows. And by the way, where did he dive in? Where did he ride
I
into?
thought they turned into crows, is what I thought.
Oh,
I
right,
thought the
right.
assassin guy and the boy, for some reason, that was with the other guy.
McDuff's boy, I think
Not
that's who it was,
McDuff's
right?
boy, no.
Was it? Was it?
No, it was
Which-
his friend there in the beginning.
that- he has a name that's difficult to remember.
Yeah, Bodine or something like that.
Yeah, it's a difficult.
I'm pretty sure it's Bodine.
It's not Bodine.
Bodine.
It's Bodine.
Hold
Bodine.
on.
Macbeth and Bodine.
Lord of Cawdor.
Banquo.
Banquo.
Yeah, I was
Banquo,
close.
yeah.
It was a B.
Banquo.
I know it was a B, but yeah, I don't know.
And
his
6
name.
letters. I was damn
Yeah.
close, John. I'm as close as you
all
could
right.
be with
It
being
was
wrong.
like Bodine.
Bodine.
Macbeth and McDuff. Of course.
Macbeth and McDuff. Sounds like it's just, all I think about is the beer from
McDuff man.
Duffy beer.
McDuff man. Can't breathe. Oh no.
Macduff and Macbeth hanging out with Timmy.
Tough man shouldn't have killed the king. Feels bad now.
Macduff and Macbeth at the bar with Timmy.
Oh, cruel fate.
So are we supposed to assume Lady Macbeth tossed herself down the stairs because she was getting all sorts of paranoid from the murdering? Is that what
Yes,
happened?
I think so.
Yeah.
At least that's
So,
what the
yeah.
wiki alluded to.
People are saying
Oh,
the
yeah.
acting is good, but like you kind of I know this is going to be the same kind of thing where it's like, well, you have to be into the style or whatever. But if your wife just threw herself down the stairs, you're not going to stand there and recite poetry, right?
That's right.
And he's not crying, he's not
No,
moving,
he's like, oh,
he's
so
not
yeah.
doing anything
You threw
except for
yourself down
saying
the
poetry.
stairs there.
Oh,
eh,
that
Marge?
sucks for you. Thou not shalt do something with
I
the
know.
blah, 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 blah.
So I guess, I mean, when people say that's good acting, it might be fitting really well into like a separate way to judge that sort of thing.
Right.
But
Does
'cause it's
anybody
all- it's
know how
all-
to
I know,
judge
I know.
any of this shit
yeah, I think people do.
in reality?
Well-
Well, they say they do.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the figure skating judges, they've never figure skated. How the fuck do they know?
Some
Have
of
they
them
not?
have, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
think
most
some
of them haven't.
have.
No, I just watched a documentary. It turns out most of them have not.
Oh, that's right. They're
And a
just-
lot of them
they're-
haven't gone to the
they're-
Olympics either. So how would they know? And they're
Right.
judging the Olympics. It was actually a
well-
really good documentary for everyone out there. This is separate, but it's a documentary about a figure skating couple that basically got screwed in the Olympics because the Russians fixed the The outcome.
What's that
So
called?
they had let me find out. I just watched like 5 or 6 episodes of it, or maybe 4. 4 sounds right. But yeah, it's actually really, really interesting because this poor couple does a flawless, perfect, probably the best couples thing they've ever done, and then they lose, and everyone's like, "What the?" Like the whole crowd, like, "Boo!" Everyone's like, "What the fuck?" And then like a week or 2 later, it comes out that the Russians had already figured out who won prior to the match.
Did they like
And
cancel it?
they forced a judge into basically, going for the Russians instead of the
Did they
Americans.
revise the
no
the
revision.
outcome? Really?
Yeah.
the
It
fuck?
turns out the Olympics is pretty shady, but there's a lot they go into there. So it's a good watch. But like there's a point where the person's basically saying like no one and the judges has ever trained like these figure skaters have to get to that point, and they're judges, but they're not like judging on. They've never been in that moment, so what the fuck do they know, really, right? And so like that's why people just believed it. They were just like, well, I guess the judges. Hey, that's what they said, and that's I guess the Americans lose.
Is that called meddling? Is that on
meddling.
Peacock?
Meddling on Peacock. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Peacock. You guys have Peacock? John, you
I
have
don't
Peacock?
have that
I got
one
them all,
yet.
baby. I got every
Yeah.
single service you can imagine.
Wow.
Was Apple TV the last edition?
It was. And by the way, Ted Lasso, fuck. What a good show.
Yeah.
absolutely.
I was scared that you weren't going to like it.
Absolutely. One of the best TV shows I've ever
It's
watched.
awesome.
How
It's
far
so
are you
good.
in it?
Let's see, where they start winning and they bench that guy and then he comes
season
back,
one?
but not. Yeah,
Towards
season
the
1.
end?
Still
yeah.
season 1 towards the end.
Nice.
Unbelievable show. And it's funny too, because my mom is such a hater. And I'm like, you should watch. She's like, I've never watched it out of spite. It's like Star Wars. It's like the rest of it. And I'm like, now I see where I get it from.
Yeah.
She's a nut. She's a total nut. She won't watch Ted Lasso because people are quoting it on TV.
Well, yeah.
That's a bad
Yeah.
reason not to watch something.
Oh, it's
Come on.
horrible. I've been arguing with her
I
for
know,
weeks.
but I understand. I mean, you sort of have the reaction after a while. Of,
Yeah.
it gets tiring.
Or or it's like someone you hate says
it's
something
just-
from Ted Lasso and you're like,
I know.
fuck that show.
But
you
it's,
know?
it's such a joyful show. It's so,
Oh my God, he's
especially
great.
the first season. It's like sad
Yeah.
to deny that to anybody. It's like, no,
he's
you really
great.
should.
All the
yeah.
actors are great. The fucking comedy is so easygoing and like
Yeah.
easy to just sort of laugh at, but also not get too hung up on. It's fucking a fantastic show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But watch Meddling. I think if anybody's listening, that's a good one to watch. It's got a really eye-opening thing about the Olympics, and but it just goes to show you that like people that are critiquing movies. They never made one. They don't know what it's like. They don't know what it's like. How hard it is. They don't know
Some of
why
them
it
tried
should
and
be.
failed.
And
right?
yeah, right.
Like
exactly.
Ebert, what did he? He
Exactly.
worked on like Valley of the Dolls or something
Oh, did
back
he?
in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like
He
people.
did the screenplay. He did like
Screenplay,
Beyond
yeah.
the Valley of Dolls. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
actually.
So
You
like
gotta
they
take what
dabble, but they
critiquers
can
say
never
with a-
make it.
Yeah, well, you got to
But at
take
the
what
same
critiquers
time,
say with a grain
do
of
you
salt.
need to know how to make a movie to judge it?
Well, no, but you don't have to be
Well,
taken seriously.
Because
either.
you still consume like we do, for
Yeah,
example.
we do.
right? But
we don't
we
know
just
what we're
are
talking
talking
about.
our opinions. We're not
Yeah.
officially judging it.
Right.
You know,
I think
by
we're
any
judging
means.
it.
Well, we are, but
This
we're
movie
not
is
like
not for
award-
people who don't
yeah,
like
but no one's going to
Shakespeare.
Mission 2
Not handing out awards
to
or
say
anything here.
how
I
we
guess. I don't
doing,
know.
who's
We're
getting the award.
We're not like
That's
nobody sits in any anticipation of our judgment.
Yeah.
It's more of our
Well,
opinions about it, right?
India does. Thanks,
Well,
guys.
maybe.
Yeah. Remember, we love Amir
We're
Khan.
hot. We're hot
We
in
love
India.
Amir Khan.
That's
Yeah.
true.
That string of like 8 Bollywood movies did us well
Hey,
for our hits.
yeah, I'm looking forward to.
I'm going to
the,
go to India and I'm going to go sit
um,
there and talk about Amir Khan and people are going
Ooh,
to
I
love it.
actually saw like there was an indie movie we should see that's got like a 9.8. It's
Whoa.
a really high IMDb.
Wow, that is high.
It wasn't.
It's too
9.8,
high.
but
That's
it
way
was
too
really
high.
high.
That seems unlikely.
No. It was high up there.
Yeah.
What were the foreign films that were nominated this year?
Yeah, we should watch those.
We should watch some of those. And because, foreign slate's coming up hot, man. It's going to be a
So
lot.
Drive My Car is the one that I've heard of.
I've heard of that one too.
That one, it's Japanese.
Oh, the Japanese originals are on the rise, man. We're going to start seeing a lot more of those soon.
Yeah, the
It's kinda
predicted
cool.
nominees are The Worst Person in the World from Norway, Flee from Denmark, Drive My Car from Japan, I'm Your Man from Germany, and The Hand of God from Italy. So
Oh, we should
no
look into those. We should
Indian
look into
movies,
those.
yeah.
Yeah, let's look into them. Maybe not the Italian one. I don't know.
Nope.
We haven't had good luck with those.
I
but
think I'm
we'll
good.
see.
We'll skip
And it's called The Hand
Italian
of
one
God,
for
so
now.
you know it's got to be like religious and shit.
Yeah,
Maybe,
it's a
unless
Catholic
it's
in there
like-
somewhere, and I'm
I
good.
don't know. That's
you know?
not fair. It's
Yeah.
not fair.
No,
It is
it's
fair,
just-
John. It's called The
that's
Hand of
just
funny.
God.
It's called
Yeah,
funny.
right.
I wouldn't mind watching some of the other ones though.
Raja Sen is the one that I've heard
Raja
about.
Sen.
Raja
Never heard of that. But yeah, I mean, back to this movie. Which one we're doing again? Oh, right, Macbeth.
I don't know.
I mean, there's just not, You
Yeah.
think it's gonna win anything?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I couldn't see what it might possibly win.
No, the
Cinematography,
only thing
no. Set design, no.
no.
Makeup, no. Acting, no.
maybe
Direction, no.
acting. I mean, you can see.
That's
Really?
how you really
like,
feel, Denny.
but I don't know.
Screenplay,
Yeah.
no, right? Because it's
No,
already
no,
written
right,
for
I'm
like
telling
three
you,
plays.
yeah, right. Like, you just copied
Like,
it out of the
it's-
book. Fuck.
Yeah.
Bested. Yeah. That doesn't seem
How many
like that would
words can we
work.
put together that somewhat make sense?
I thought the acting was terrible.
Really?
Personally, I thought this entire movie was really
You
bad.
didn't like
I,
Nomadland?
Yeah.
I like Nomadland.
No, her. I
We
just was
did.
referring to her.
Oh, I love.
Oh, I didn't like her at all.
Oh,
I like her in
really?
almost everything else I've seen her in. It. Same
That's
with
true.
Denzel Washington, right?
Yeah.
Same with Ralph Ineson. Same with
I know.
the guy who played that crazy drunk guy that did like the dick jokes in the middle of this movie.
Oh,
what,
he was
Stephen
funny.
Root. I usually
Yeah.
like him. Like
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
people in this I like almost all the time, and every one of them just like they're just reading lines way too fast. You know?
With no real context as to why they should make sense.
Yeah.
That was what was bothering me, right? Like
And there's
when
no
you're not doing anything-
conversations.
Yeah,
it's
when
always
you're
just
not
like
doing
one
anything with the
person talks
sets.
until
Yeah.
they're done, and then
Right.
the other person talks.
Like they weren't
immediately
placing them
afterwards.
in realistic situations at all, so it was hard to know what the hell they were trying to convey
Yeah.
because you couldn't get the rest of the thought from the images on screen, right? So it was. I had a hard time with this one. Really
If
did.
they nominate any of these people for Best Acting Awards, it's got to be just the people in the Academy being like, I get it. I get
That's
it.
right.
yeah, they
And I
figured that
love
shit out at the
Denzel.
Malibu
Denzel deserves
restaurant.
another Oscar, and so does
Yeah.
Frances McDormand. Fucking give her another one
Hey,
too.
you know,
Why not?
When
Right,
you're when
right.
you're eating at Michelin star restaurants and you're fucking just rich, it's all figured out ahead of time. And then assholes like us just sit here and bitch.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what it is. Keeps
I
the
liked
whole
Power of
world
the
going
Dog a
around.
lot more than this movie.
It was
A
more
lot
of
more.
a movie. It was more
I
of
can
a
at
movie.
least be
than
interested
this.
in what was
Yeah.
going on.
But
on
I
the
actually
screen.
liked Power of the Dog. So,
Yeah.
Whoa, John.
No.
You take that back.
No, I liked it. That dog had power.
John
I
was the only one who
love
saw the dog.
Benji. Wait, that's not the same thing. Yeah, I don't know about this one. This one's one that we could have skipped. I would have rather. I remember sitting there thinking I would have much rather have watched Alien.
This was a
Then,
chore
Yeah.
to get
Then-
through.
yeah.
It was
Sorry,
a
guys.
chore.
I just thought, well, it's nominated. It's up there.
No, I
It's-
think we
it's-
should
It's a
investigate
Coen
these.
film. It's a half a Coen
Yep.
film.
Was it
Yeah.
your
well, now we
suggestion?
know. Not
Yeah,
so
it was
good.
mine. It was
Okay.
mine because I was we were
Now
saying
we
well,
know.
Belfast is expensive, so
Yeah.
I saw that it was free. So if we have the service,
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
and that's a
which we
bad
do.
miss.
it was a miss.
I
I turned it on 5 minutes. And
think we
Nikki
should
was
do
sitting by
licorice
me, and she
pizza.
goes, nope,
licorice
walked
pizza
off.
next. I think that's what we should do.
Is that streaming yet?
Yeah, I think so.
Can we get
right?
it?
You know what's funny is
That's
I might not be right about that. I just assume they're all streaming at this point because like
They're still releasing. No,
Yeah.
not streaming yet. Still in theaters.
what the fuck? All
yeah,
right.
it's like a weird. They try to get theater money before the Oscars.
They're
is what people are
trying,
to do.
Well, no, the theaters need the money. I mean, shit, they're not going to go out of business if
Yeah.
we're not careful. I love a good streaming site, and trust me, I have all of them, so I know. But it's definitely going to ruin the industry if people aren't going to theaters anymore.
And I'm not. I mean, yeah.
Don't worry,
Yeah.
guys. Omicron's going away right now. Yeah, we're all gonna be
it's,
fine.
I am already fine. I got so many issues on top of Omicron. I don't really care. I got a lot to handle. Omicron's my lowest
The
priority.
pandemic is just a drop in the bucket.
Oh my God, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, everything's closing down now. Our daughter's homeschooling again, or remote school, and our daycare's
That's
shortened
a
its
shame.
hours. So we're having lots of fun.
Jeez.
No, I mean, Tool played last night, and I was.
did you go?
thinking about going, and
Ah.
because my coworker's roommate was going, and it wasn't until my coworker was like, "Yeah, but the Omicron," I was just like, "Oh yeah, that's right. It's like indoors with all like, I mean, you don't know who you're with. Yeah, you're supposed to be vaccinated, but like, did you see that people are like, I made a joke. People are selling vaccination cards now. Of course they are. The fuck, am I an idiot? Like, of course there's still some schmo that's like, hey, dude, see a moneymaker. You don't need to get vaccinated. I'll make a card for you, right? Like, they're selling for $200 a pop.
Sure.
So, like, how do we know at the Tool concert that you're not going to run into a bunch of people that have faked their
The
vaccination
vaccine's
cards,
fucking free,
right?
you goddamn morons. God
No, but
damn
the
it.
point is like you don't like he made, but it didn't dawn on me because I've even gotten to that point now too, where I'm like, oh, it's done. Like I'm not paying attention to it anymore, but it's not done.
Mhm.
That's the worst part. And like going to a Tool concert, like fuck, I miss music, but like, is it worth it? I don't know.
Probably not right now.
But Tool, man.
I know.
Yeah.
See, they're
I'm old.
headlining Coachella. Is it Coachella?
Is Coachella
Oh,
even
wow.
going to
Is
go?
Coachella
Is it even going to
happening?
happen?
Coachella and Bonnaroo both released their lineups already.
Oh, we should go to
Oh.
Bonnaroo again.
I
Denny,
know.
as VIP. What do you say? Should we go to Bonnaroo
Not
this year?
this
as
year,
VIP?
dude.
Next year?
I mean, as soon as the pandemic is over, I
I'm
got
definitely
sick.
going
I got
again.
sick every time I went to Bonnaroo anyway, just because of
Me
like sitting
too.
around in trash for 4
And
days,
just like, well,
not
that's actually
showering,
probably what
rubbing
it
up
was,
against
wasn't
1,000 strangers, and then going immediately lay down in a tent for 8 hours,
it?
and then getting up,
and then
not
waking
showering,
up in like the
and-
heat and sweating.
barely eating any
dehydrated.
food, just drinking alcohol 16
Sounds
hours
like
a
fun.
day.
We should do that again. Yeah, we should do that again. So they
Yeah.
really announced their lineups. That's awesome.
They did.
Are there any movie festivals that are happening still, or has that all been
Probably.
shut down too? I wasn't keeping track with any of that shit.
Yeah, Tool is headlining Bonnaroo. Stevie
Oh
Nicks,
boy, VIP.
Whoa,
Sounds like it's
really?
happening.
the Dixie Chicks, J. Cole, Millennium, Tool, Flume, 21 Savage, Machine Gun
Bonnaroo
Kelly, Roddy
sounds
Rich.
Different
that
than
doesn't
what I
really
thought
sound
it
that
used to
good,
be.
dude.
I thought they were more
The headliners
indie.
always suck at Bonnaroo, right?
Oh, do they?
It doesn't sound really like a full lineup. I'd actually go pay VIP prices to see, to be honest. Maybe next year will be better. I mean, one day we got to hope that we can go to theaters again and we can go to concerts again and that that's all going to be a thing. But, you brought up a good point with the movies. Like when they start doing this stuff right to service, I'm getting used to that shit. I'm not thinking about going to a theater right away all the time. Sometimes, some movies I'm like, oh, it's a theater movie. But like, Licorice Pizza, I can fucking watch that shit at home and be quite all right, right? Like how much is the sound going to really improve that
Oh, it's
movie?
going to matter.
I don't know. Is it?
Everything's better in the theater, I think. I'd see
Yeah.
any movie in the theater over seeing it at
But
home.
you're one of the few. That's not how everyone thinks that are, not movie buffs that want to critique shit even though they've never done it.
In cities, though, there's a lot of people like us. I mean, maybe not like the boonies, but like in the cities.
Oh yeah, in New York, LA, right?
Yeah.
The metropolis, sure. But that's,
That's why we live in the cities. You get Thai
Small
food and you
part
get
of
like
the-
packed theaters on a Thursday night. Those are the
Yeah,
two
yeah, yeah.
reasons to live in
you
a
go
city.
pick up some sushi
I
and
miss
then
the
you
Thai
go to
food.
Dude, Thai
really
food is
miss it.
the reason. It's the number one reason you got to live in a city is just Thai
I know.
food.
I miss it.
I haven't been eating Thai food in a long time.
Crazy.
I only used to
We
get
haven't
the
got
basil fried
Burmese
rice.
food. We got 2 Burmese restaurants. You ever had Burmese?
What's that like?
It's
I've
kind of
never
like
had that.
Thai food. It's like halfway between Thai food and Indian food.
Like a fusion.
That sounds
Fusion. It's fucking
That actually
delicious.
sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
So you still got curries. You still got the rice.
It's like curry.
Right.
You got still got the pretty much.
But like extra like seasoning, with like the Indian food has
A
like
little
curry,
spicier,
but with extra
maybe?
seasoning,
It's-
where you think it's maybe too salty, but really it's a bunch of other things.
no,
cumin.
and they don't
It's
do
just a bunch of
spicy very
cumin and-
much.
Oh, okay.
It's just a bunch of paprika.
I'm just trying.
It's cardamom. I can tell. It's cardamom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we
well, now
talking
that we've
about?
digressed about
Yeah.
anything but the movie,
Good job fluffing
would you
it out,
put this in the
guys.
top 250?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Would you recommend this to anybody that you love?
Hell fucking no.
No, there'd be
Not
no
a
recommendation.
fucking
If somebody's a
chance.
Shakespeare nut, they're already going to have seen it. So it's no
Exactly.
big deal, right?
Yeah.
So
If they're a
it's not really
Shakespeare
about
nut, they're not my friend, so I don't have to have
Aw.
these problems.
If you're on the
you
fence
know?
or have never heard about this movie, don't see it, huh?
You're probably,
There you go.
Yeah. If you don't want to just be talked at with words you may not understand, then,
Yes.
don't go to this.
Sounds fucking terrible.
Yeah,
I was
right.
hoping for something modernized or something, you know?
I was interested to see. Well, there's another one that's out there is Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. If we want
Oh,
to see
no,
that.
thanks.
That's
No,
I
thanks.
can't. They
another
can't
Oscar.
redo
Yeah.
that fucking story again. I can't do it anymore. There's too many redos. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That story needs to die. We don't need to learn about it anymore. We don't need to hear it. We don't need to see it. We don't need to go to the plays. That's it. That's it. It's over. I'm sorry.
TC's not feeling pretty.
Okay,
I've
all right,
witnessed
all right.
that fucking movie come up too many times in my life, and we're not even really that
Did you
old.
have to do like audio for that thing or something?
I'm
You really
sure.
seem scarred
I'm sure.
by it.
It's some stupid theater production at some point. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know. I just can't imagine that movie. I guess maybe if you've never seen it before, the trailer, there's going to be some really talented people in it. So
Yeah.
I guess, there could be more to it. But damn, that story's so old at this point. I mean, I don't know. I'm just old, crotchety, and
Yeah.
jaded.
Yeah,
So.
it's like, yep, that's fine. So what are we going to watch?
That's a good
We're
question.
doing.
What about what are the best animated nominations?
Oh, I don't know.
Nothing good this year, I don't think.
Have you guys seen Encanto?
I watched part of it. I would not want to watch that for this.
Okay.
For children
Ooh.
only, I would think.
I thought we enjoyed it,
Oh, really? Okay.
but we have children.
Well, there you go.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I guess we could do Alien. I was kind of looking forward to Alien.
Wanna do
to be
Alien?
honest.
Fuck it.
We're
Yeah.
gonna get there. Well, what about Drive My Car? That one's gotten a lot of good press.
Can we stream it? There we go. Let's see. It is not available yet.
Okay.
Nice. I say we
Fucking
just do Alien.
Oscar Lingo. Let's do Alien.
All
Yeah.
right. Let's finally do it.
Because then by maybe the next time after that, we can have licorice pizza and maybe we can just swap the episodes or something. If
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right? Like, as if it gets far enough, we could. Because I would like to do licorice pizza and I would like to do
What about
Alien
the Wes
too.
Anderson film? That one's streamable.
Ooh, yeah. Forgot about that one.
I don't know if that's up for any Oscars.
My sister said it was really good.
I thought it was okay.
Oh.
Well, you're a big fan though, so
Yeah.
it's that's a tall order to.
That's true.
Yeah.
Certainly not my favorite of his. A little
Okay, then let's
Really?
not do that then.
Better than Hotel. What was it? Hotel
Grand
Belfast?
Budapest
What was it
Hotel?
called? Yeah.
No. Grand Budapest Hotel was awesome.
That was
All right.
great. Yeah,
All right.
that really
Sorry.
was.
This
a
was
good
more
one.
Yeah, I know,
like
I really liked it too.
Steve, Life Aquatic of Steve Zissou or like Isle of Dogs.
Be-
I like
better
that
or
one
worse?
too, though.
Oh yeah, I liked them, but
I
I
like
like
that
Isle
one.
of Dogs. I
I
like
love
Isle of
that
Dogs,
one.
but it's claymation with
Right.
dogs. How
I
can you
liked
not
it.
like
I didn't walk
They
out
had a
Yeah.
great
No,
soundtrack.
But I
Fantastic
wasn't, like,
Mr.
blown
Fox
away.
is still my favorite.
Yeah,
I
Royal
like-
Tenenbaums.
Yeah. Or
fantastic.
Rushmore.
Rushmore.
Wait, that was him, right?
I heard a
Fantastic
Rushmore
Mr. Fox?
soundtrack
Okay.
song on my Spotify come up because I'm 40, and I was just like, oh man, this is from Rushmore. And I'm driving down the street and people looking at me. I hear EDM on the right, and I'm just like, fuck, I'm just so old now. You know what I mean? Like I'm over here listening to Built to Spill and fucking
Oh.
Weezer, and it's like, hey,
Ugh.
dude, yeah, how are you 40?
Yeah.
Remember the
Yeah.
last time you fucking were a kid? No one does either. Yeah, fuck me. But I don't know. I liked those ones.
So I think we've done this every week. So we're going to say we're going to watch Alien, but we're not going to probably. We're going to watch something else. So go to the website and check
just
out
see
what's
what we're
coming
gonna
up
do.
next
Yeah.
because it says right now that Macbeth is up next, which is true because
Yes.
this is coming
Good.
out on Monday because I'm now just
Right.
editing these because it's
'Cause it's
Oscar
modern.
season. Right.
Right.
So we'll
yes.
figure out relevant
Yeah, whichever we're
award
doing.
season movie to watch and I'll post it on the website. So go there.
I do
Excellent.
think we should definitely concentrate too on making sure we're seeing some of these international titles
Yes.
because there's going to be some sneaky titles in there that are really fucking good,
Yeah,
and it
I'm all
would be
for that.
cool for us
Yeah.
to find those as we're
Yep.
going down this list, especially since that's the future of our entertainment is going to be global. So
Yeah, well, I mean, whatever. Yeah, I'm always down for that. Whatever we want to watch, we can just start pulling, trying to get some better senses of like what were the top films or news
true
that are
as a
coming out,
starting point. Yeah, that's a good
and
idea.
Just go after it. I'm
Yeah.
all for that.
I'll do some research on like what people are saying
Okay.
are of like
Yeah,
the best
and
four
I'll
movies
try
of the year.
to as well if I remember during my workday.
And then we'll find something available and then watch that one.
That's true.
Yeah, that would be cool because then we're off the beaten path, and that would be,
And that's how we
Yeah.
got India to love us. Yeah.
Yay!
It'll work.
exactly.
Let's get
I'm
Japan.
gonna go to India, and we're gonna. You watch. I'm gonna walk down the street, and someone's gonna go, "Oh my god, that's no,
It's
that's not
Timmy."
Timmy. Is that Timmy? That's Timmy." Exactly. I'll just walk down the street going, "Maria," every once in a while, because that's the only way they'll know me.
Yeah.
And then it'll just be like all of a sudden, I'm like, "Maria," someone will be like, "Maria," from way downtown. And I'm like, "Yeah," and then I'll chant in my head, and this is all gonna be happening in my dreams.
That
would be
otherwise.
amazing.
Nice.
Right. Amir Khan, like the whole
We
thing.
just have to get famous first, TC. That's all we need to do.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
all.
know. In India, you'll see.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh shit. All right.
All right.
All right, guys.
Talk to you guys next week.
Next week.
Yep. See ya.